Well, the Nio Stock has been one of those stocks where investors have been patiently waiting for this stock to recover or to rise to its all-time high of around $66.99. And especially people like myself included, I thought that after the earnings results, we would see this stock rising yet again to its all-time high. But I must say that after the earnings results, we saw this stock starting to drop so dramatically. I mean, this week, this stock has already dropped by some big margins, which is something that is bringing a panic into investors. But I must say that I am surprised as to why we are seeing so many investors or so many new investors panicking due to this big drop that we've been seeing on this Nio stock. As you will remember, or as you will know, that this is a stock which is doing so well. I mean, if you are to look back into the earnings results, we saw this stock thrashing the analyst expectation, which is something that must continue encourage you to stay long into this Nio stock. I mean, still on those earnings results, we saw Nio giving us its future developments, which ought to encourage us to even stay more into this Nio stock, because those future developments, not only do they motivate us to stay long, but they also build on the strong fundamentals that are already surrounding this Nio stock. I mean, this is why some of the successful investors will tell you that you ought not to look into the stock price. You ought not to look in the stock price of the company that you're investing in. Look at the fundamentals. Are the fundamentals strong enough? Are the strong fundamentals surrounding that stock able to drive the share price of that stock in the near future? Then if the answer is yes, you ought not to worry about the day-to-day movement of that stock price, but rather focus on the future. Focus on where that stock could be in the next year or two, which is what ought to motivate you to stay long into this Nio stock. I mean, this is a stock where we are seeing some big financial institutions adding their portfolio, adding their holdings, which is something that ought to encourage you to stay long into this Nio stock. We are seeing even the number of institutional owners or big financial institutions that own this Nio stock. We are seeing that number increasing, which is something that is truly amazing. I mean, just yesterday I saw that the total number of institutions that hold this Nio stock was now around 894. We are very close to seeing this stock having 900 institutional owners. In fact, by the end of this week, we might see the number of institutional owners going to 900 just this week on this Nio stock, which is something that must continue to motivate you to stay long into this Nio stock, because they see where this stock can be in the near future, which is why we are seeing not only the current Nio investor adding their positions or adding their holdings onto this Nio stock, but we are seeing even new institutions coming and investing into this Nio stock for the very first time, which is something that must motivate you, because it looks like everyone is seeing the great potential on this stock, which is something that must motivate you not to panic, because we saw Nio closing the day around 38 US dollars and 10 cents yesterday, but must encourage you to probably add your positions, because we know that this is a stock which is said to do very well in this EV industry. Otherwise, on today's video, guys, I'll be giving you some of the big financial institutions that just added their holdings on to this Nio stock. The reason why I'm giving you this, I'm just trying to show you that if they are adding, if these big financial institutions are adding into this Nio stock, they see serious returns that they can generate from this stock in the near future, which is something that must also encourage you to also add your holdings into this stock, because it is not us, the retail investors, that are adding to these stocks, but even the big financial institutions. We are seeing them adding their holdings into this or onto this Nio stock, which is something that's just truly amazing. Otherwise, guys, please know that I'm not a professional financial advisor. If you seek professional financial advice, you already know what to do by now, and that is you need to go and consult the professionals. Otherwise, if you like the content that I'll be sharing on today's video, please don't forget to hit that like button or hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. That's if you have not subscribed to the channel already. So please do watch this video until the end, because I definitely think that you are going to definitely be motivated with what I have in store for you. And remember that these big financial institutions, they keep on giving us updates as to whether they increase or decrease their holdings onto this Nio stock. So on today's video, guys, we'll be looking at the big financial institutions, or some of these big financial institutions that just added their positions. We'll be looking at at what percentage did they add their holdings onto this Nio stock, which, like I said, ought to encourage you to probably add your positions also into this Nio stock. So the first institution, or the first financial institutions that just added their holdings onto this Nio stock for the period which ended in June of 2021 is the French bank Natixis. Now, for the Q1 of 2021, Natixis, or this French bank Natixis, had indicated that they owned 3.6 million Nio shares by the Q1 of 2021. But I'm so very happy to tell you that for the Q2, or for the period which ended in June of 2021, Natixis increased their holdings and they now own around 7.8 million of these Nio shares, which is over 114% increase into this Nio stock. So in the Q1 of 2021, they own like 3.6 million Nio shares, and now they own 7.8 million shares, which is something that must encourage you, because this just means that they truly believe on where this Nio stock can be, or they truly see the good returns that this stock can give to them in the near future, which is something that must also motivate you not to panic by the current trading price of this Nio stock, because as I've told you, it's not only these big financial institutions or the existing financial institutions that are adding their positions into this Nio stock, but we are even seeing more institutions coming in and buying Nio for the very first time, which is something that must encourage you to stay long into this Nio stock. Otherwise, the second big financial institutions that just added their holdings for the period which ended in June of 2021, it's none other than Morgan Stanley. Now, Morgan Stanley, for the period which ended in March of 2021, and that is your Q1, they disclosed or indicated that they owned a Nio, or total Nio shares of around 4.7 million. And now for the Q2, which ended in June of 2021, Morgan Stanley indicated or disclosed that they now owned over 6.1 million Nio shares, which again must encourage you, because they just increased, or we saw Morgan Stanley increasing their Nio holdings onto this Nio stock, which is something that must motivate you to stay long into this Nio stock. I mean, as seen on the screen, you'll notice that this is almost 30%. They added 30% more of their holdings in the Q2 of 2021, which is something that, like I said, ought to motivate you to also probably do the same, and especially looking at the current trading price of this Nio stock. Otherwise, the third institution that just added their holdings onto this Nio stock is none other than HSBC Holdings, which is something that is truly amazing. Because as for the Q1 of 2021, this company indicated that they owned approximately 1.39 million Nio shares. And for this Q2, or for this period which ended in June of 2021, now they own approximately 1.57 million Nio shares, which is a good 13% or over 13% increase, which is something that must also show you that these financial institutions are indeed adding their holdings into this Nio stock. Otherwise, the last company, guys, that just added their holdings for the Q2, or for the period which ended in June of 2021, it's none other than Goldman Sachs. Now, this company, guys, it's one of those companies that has been, or we've been seeing them reiterating or increasing their price target on this Nio stock, which is something that is truly amazing, as it motivates us also to probably add, as this makes us to believe that this company, or the current trading price, it's trading at a very good discount. Now, this company for the Q1 of 2021, they had reported a total ownership of around 19.75 million Nio shares, which is something that is truly amazing, or it was amazing then. But something that is even more amazing is when we saw them increasing their ownership by over 8%, and they now have a total ownership of around 21.4 million Nio shares, which is something that is truly amazing and ought to encourage you to stay long into this Nio stock, because these financial institutions, it's not like they are just increasing onto this Nio stock because probably they're seeing on the lower trading price, but it is because they see of the strong fundamentals that surround this Nio stock. They see where this Nio stock can be in the next coming year or two. They see that they can make some serious returns by them investing into this Nio stock, which is something that is amazing and ought to encourage you to stay long into this Nio stock. I mean, this stock or this Nio stock, guys, for the upcoming Q3 earnings results, they indicated that they plan to deliver between 23,000 and 25,000 EV cars, meaning that for the upcoming next 2 remaining months for the Q3, we might see this stock not delivering anything less than 8,000 per month, which is something that is truly amazing and ought to show you that this company continues to do better and better. This company continue to do or impress its investors, which is something, like I said, that will continue driving this stock price to the moon. And though maybe the stock price might not react as soon as we want it to react and head back up to its all-time high of $66.99, it will just be a matter of time before they head back up to their all-time high, which is something that you must think of before you sell this stock. Otherwise, as I always encourage you, please go do your own due diligence and check if you could add your holdings into this Nio stock, or if you can start buying these Nio stocks like these other big institutions that we are seeing coming into the Nio stock, and buy this stock for the very first time. Otherwise, with all that, guys, I make tons and tons of stock market investing videos, and if you think that this video was amazing, please don't forget to hit that like button. If you are new, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on the notification bell so that YouTube can notify you every time I release a video. Otherwise, that's all from me, and I wish you nothing but the best in your stock market investing journey, and God bless you all.